You sure you ready to go? Okay. Well, we are cranking it up, my friends. Yes, we are. I know y'all want to see us. But you know, we got to get y'all started with a little bit of moving. That's right. Here we are. Hey guys, let's go. Let's go. Get on here, we about to get it started. Let's go. Guys, I'm super excited. I am super excited to get this thing started today, my friends. So y'all need to get on here because it's about to go down so we can help y'all go up. I can't wait to introduce my guests. But before that, you got to express yourself. I thought this would be a good song to start with. Let's go.
What you look like when you're doing what you're doing is what you're doing. When you're doing what you're doing, express yourself.
I don't know if you really listen to the words of that song, but it really is a song that's trying to motivate you to express yourself. It's like, it's not what you're doing when you're doing what you're doing, but it's what you're doing when you're doing. when you're doing what you do. So just express yourself, guys. Hey, it's you know what day it is?
I hope it's Wednesday.
Yes, it is, my friends. It is hump day. It is hump day. And it's time to get this show on the road, guys. I know we're a little bit fashionably late today, but you know it's better late than never. But trust me, we will deliver on this particular day. I got an amazing gentleman that's sitting next to me, and I can't wait to dive into his story and kind of hear a little bit more about him, let you hear a little bit more about him. And I mean, from meeting him from the first jump a few months ago, huh?
Yes, about a few months ago.
Man, he's one of those guys that just added a toot to my smile, knowing that he's out there taking some bold steps and courageous steps in the direction of being able to make a contribution to this hurting humanity. And so I'm going to start with a drum roll, because he's that type of guy. He's often imitated, but never quite duplicated. He's first to many, but absolutely second to none in more ways than one. He's got some zip in his hips, some slide in his glide, and he's over here live right by my side to help you thrive, my friends. Get ready to applaud. It's none other than the Pastor Greg Tatum. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. I know when okay, my audience is getting crazy. No, it's always that one that just can't clap. They gotta scream and all this other stuff. I love it though, y'all. Yeah, if we're coming through loud and clear, give me some heads up, a thumbs up or something like that, so I know that we're coming through and we're trending, because I know sometimes Facebook is kind of trending kind of slow. But on this okay. On this hump day, guys, we want to get you over the hump, and I'm super excited to have Pastor G in the place to be, all by himself without no body. And I'm trying to make it rhyme so it'll be sticky with you. Hey, Sheila, I see you. Hey, Kathleen, I see you as well. And I see you guys trending live here on Instagram as well, too. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, guys. Right up in here, you should see something floating up in there at the end where you can subscribe. Press that subscribe button. And then on the other ones, the other platforms, LinkedIn and all those other ones, guys, wherever you're watching and viewing this from, we want to be able to give you a really cool nugget. Now, what you may not know about Pastor G is he's not just the run-of-the-mill pastor that just hangs out in the church and call that his mission field. He's one of those that believe, and I don't want to put words in his mouth because I'm going to throw it to him in a second, that the mission field is not just the four walls of your churches and your synagogues and your temples. Am I right?
Correct.
That mission field is where?
The world.
Oh, they didn't hear you. They didn't hear you.
The world. The world.
I'm going to ding that. So for those who are part of the faith-based community, guys, hey, he can show you better than he can tell you. This gentleman has also run for office, and he's running for some offices now. So you ran for senator.
Yeah, state senate, District 16 against Shannon Grove.
Wow, and now you're up for running for mayor.
Running for mayor.
Did you run for mayor before too?
Yes, 2016, first time we have 25 candidates. I placed 6 out of 25.
What?
Yes.
6 out of 25. That means that you have some constituency that wants to see you hold that actual title.
I hope so. I paid them. No,
You paid them. We applaud that. Guys, you know what? If I had a hat on, I'd take it off to people who are not just saying it, but displaying it, especially if they want to move into the realm of politics. Because when you say politics, you got a big target on your back.
Yes.
And people can come. Matter of fact, be surprised if they don't come after you. If they don't come after you, that means you're not very important. You're not a threat.
Correct.
In politics. Am I right?
Correct.
And so when you sign up for that and you say yes to it, you got to make sure that you're ready to take some arrows, some bullets, and some bombs and some bloodshed, because most people, they protect that like it's a child.
Yes.
And if you're coming into that realm, you're going to have some challenges and adversity. I know I titled this "All Adversity Is Not Created Equal."
Okay.
Because I just pulled it out of there. I'm like, hey, it's not.
I like that.
I'm kind of curious. What made you want to step out of just wearing the hat of the pastor and say, hey, I want to be able to move into the community and pursue some positions of political?
That's a good question, Cedric. I've been a pastor in Bakersfield for now 10 years. Started on the east side of Bakersfield, Martin Luther King, one of the nicest areas of the town. And now I'm downtown on Truxton. And around 2011, I was working down in the San Diego area and near Carlsbad. And I received a call from a gentleman from Georgia who was in a prophecy, the word of knowledge. And I was introduced to this gentleman by another prophet. And I never met him in person, but I did talk to him on the telephone. And he talked to me. He said, Pastor Tatum, God is telling me to tell you that you're going to be involved in politics and you're going to be on television. He said, people from around the world will come to see you. They're going to say, are you a prophet or a teacher? And God is going to use you in a mighty way. And I was like, get out of here.
Really? So
so I didn't really, at that time, I had no inclinations.
Wasn't even on your radar
to be into politics. Yes.
Wow. And so at that point, because, it's funny, I've had people who have come and have said certain things about where they were supposed to be or felt like they were supposed to be, or God was telling them this, or somebody told them that, or prophesied. And then a lot of them just, they initially have that high or the thought, but they don't do anything to move toward taking that what if into a what is scenario. Obviously, you are the exception to that, because once that was prophesied over you, what happened next?
Okay. Well, of course, any prophecy, if people are familiar with the word of knowledge, the Bible said that if the person spoke a word of knowledge or prophecy, if it don't come to pass, that person is a false prophet. So I didn't know how it was going to come. You got to realize it was 2011. When you give a word of prophecy, especially like Old Testament, Ezekiel, Isaiah, and all those Old Testament prophets, it could be thousands of years down. Even in the book of Daniel, you're talking about Revelation, talking about 2,000 or 3,000 years later for it to actually come to pass. So it was no time stamp on it.
Got it.
Fast forward from 2011, Cedric, to 2016, Harvey Hall had been the mayor of Bakersfield for 16 years. And he was able to knock out anyone that would challenge him. And 2016, he decided not to run.
Right.
And when he said that, God spoke to me through the Holy Spirit. He said, now it's time for you to run. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, apply for the mayor of Bakersfield. And it costs a mere $25 to register.
Wow.
And you have to get a minimum of 20 people to nominate you. And I was able to obtain that. And I got in the race in 2016.
Wow. And then saw the results that, wait a minute, there are some people, some constituents out there that are saying that, hey, wait a minute, Pastor Tatum may make a good feeling for this particular space. And guys, I can tell you, one of the things I talk about change, CHANGE, which is an acronym here. See if you can follow this. Choosing to have a new goal to explore. That's change. Now, one of the most, how should I say, the way to accelerate your growth comes by way of this one thing, this certain part of change. And I'm going to share that with you guys, because I know this is one that he actually embraced in. this whole thing I'm going to share with you as it relates to this certain type of change that'll help you to be able to experience the gain in your own life. What is it? I'll tell you on the other side of this dance break. So stick around. We're going to continue to ride this shotgun with my man, Red Tatum. He is in the house, y'all.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
All right. Welcome back. All right, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, I'm riding shotgun with none other than the capital T-H-E. Some call him doctor, some call him pastor, some call him friend, some even call him daddy. And granddad. Oh my gosh, you got a granddad. That's right. You got the granddaddy. See a little gray coming out right there. So you got the granddaddy gray. He's good to go. I call him friend and Pastor G. And what an inspiration he is. And I teased you on the other side of that break. Hey, Rosalind, I see you. Hey, Carl, I see all you guys chiming in. We're dropping some crazy nuggets here. And we was talking about when he was given the prophecy, I should say, that he would be in politics, or he would be in spaces that were of influence on a community basis, and not just limited to community, I'm sure it's outside of that as well. And it's one thing to receive that and then not do anything about it, but another to say, receive it and then to actually take some action. And I told you about change, and one of the best parts of change that I think increases or accelerates your growth is actually what I call self-inflicted change. It's where you don't wait for it to happen to you. You don't wait for the job to come to you, right? It's like you knock on the door, doom, 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 doom. Who is it? Job. What? Doesn't happen. No, you gotta self-inflict that. You have to get up and move in the direction of being able to make that happen. So when you got that calling, so to speak, you didn't just sit on your hands and say, "Oh Lord, just send it to me. If it's for me, it's gonna come to me."
No, I did not.
You took some action.
Took the initiative. Brother Crawford applied for the candidate in 2016 to be, one of the mayors. The first African American mayor of Bakersfield, which would make history out of 151 years. So little did I know 25 others had the same idea, and the field was very crowded. Yeah. But what was interesting is that I don't want to give too much information out, but I know that I don't know what Karen Gold spent when she won the elected in 2016, but I know people behind her spent much as $500,000, 100,000, up into
campaign.
500. And my campaign war chest was $1,500, and I placed 6th.
Wow,
I was $1,500.
So with that being quantitatively considered, if you were to fuel some more finances toward that promotion, then obviously that would stand the reason that obviously you could become more of someone who would be more competitive in that space, is what you're saying.
Correct. Now,
I think a question that most people may want to hear in terms of mayorship, some people, if you're like me, I don't even know what really a mayor does. It's like, is that like the representative of the city to go to different places, or, I see them at different events and ribbon cuttings and such, but can you explain to us what would be like a job description of the mayor?
Yeah, well, for Bakersfield, which is a charter city, and it has its own rules and regulations and its own charter, it's an honorary position. You're the face of Bakersfield.
Got it.
You help attract business. Any heads of states that will come to Bakersfield, you meet. If the president comes, they will meet the mayor. The mayor salary is only $24,000 a year. The city manager actually.
So they don't do it for the money.
No, it's not for the money. You got to have a passion for people.
Yeah.
In comparison to what the city manager receives, $21,000 a month, and they actually handle the city's budget, which is sometimes
the city manager.
Yes, $21,000 a month.
A month.
A month.
Wow. Okay.
What they make in a month, what the mayor makes
in a year. Got it.
So you have a perceived power.
Yeah.
But that power is a power of community
and influence.
And influence.
Yeah. So so if somebody was running for a specific office and it would be to their advantage to get the blessing of the mayor, because that mayor has some influence as well. Like the mayor's supporting me,
Yes,
whatever, to run
of
this
course.
particular position
Of course.
and such things. Now, as in terms of like being at a supervisory meeting and a mayor having a vote, that's not the case.
Well,
Or
certain circumstances, in the city council, the mayor is a tiebreaker.
Oh.
So then that position becomes very significant.
wow,
A lot of pressure can be on you. Like they want to go a certain way and they have a tie, that mayor can break that tie. Now, in that case here in Bakersfield, that could be a lot of pressure.
wow, I can imagine too, especially when when it comes to politics. And on my show, I don't do deep politics or polarizing topics and such, because there's enough people out there doing that. This one is designed for inspiration, motivation, education, and maybe even possibly transformation, depending on where you're at in your life. But the thing I do want to emphasize, and I can't overstate this, is that all adversity is not created equal. I'm sure he had some challenges.
Oh, yes.
And that's just the way the ball bounces. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Having that adversity. Guys, here's an acronym for adversity. ADVERSITY. It's ability to develop via experiencing rough situations that involuntarily train you. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but there's a lot of letters there. It really is. Adversity is something you don't really sign up for, but if you reframe it, I said reframe it. If you reframe it and says, hey, this comes to make me stronger. It's involuntary, but it's here to train me and make me better. So going into this and coming out on the other side, even though you didn't come out victorious with the first time around, you feel like you gained something, you got better?
Yes, you got name notoriety, as well as understanding the process. What I think happened for me, Cedric, is when you're doing this type of thing, it may seem like it's nothing to other people, other cultures, or people of color. They seem to look at you as they put their hope, in you. And even though you didn't win, in their minds, it's like you did something they could try next time. I mean, I had people that came up to me, they were very educated. They said, what is the process? And they didn't know. And I said, $25 application. And it was like, wow, but I think it makes all people, all ethnicities, all backgrounds of culture, look at you in a different way, that we can bring something to the table. You kept alluding to change. The name of our church was called Change Community Church.
Ooh.
I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
We're right off of
just so happened.
Truxton, 1660 S Truxton. But
Give it again. What's the address again?
1660 S Street on Truxton.
S Street on Truxton.
We use Mill Creek Church. We use the fellowship hall 11 o'clock on Sunday. But it's called Change Community Church. I've been a pastor here for 10 years. I'm in the ministry over 30-something years. Yeah. So we're trying to change the mindset of the community. We deal with people where they have involved in gangs, drugs. One Sunday we was on Martin Luther King Boulevard when I was pastoring there. I pastored there for 6 years. 2000. We actually was doing a service in church, and a guy came from off the street into our church to get one of our members. And my daughter said, "Did you see what he had in his back pocket?" I said, "What?" He said, "He had a gun." So people would come in there.
He was coming to extract one of the members?
Extract one of our members, and he smiled and gave me a shake. He's like, "How you doing, Pastor?" And my daughter said, "Did you see what he had in his back?" I said, "No, he had a gun." I said, "Wow." And so we were in that environment on Martin Luther King. I was oblivious because I came from the Inland Empire. Right. They said, "Well, you're going to the East Side." I said, "What's the difference between the East Side?" I didn't know. I thought I was in a good area. I've been places in LA. I thought, hey, this is a nice area.
And just so happened.
Yeah, those happened. A lot of, the one Sunday we were having service and bullets were flying, that type of activity.
You ducking in the pulpit.
Yeah, so I did an experience one time. I said, this is going to be really funny. I shouldn't have done it, but I wanted to see how people's minds are conditioned. So one Sunday I was speaking the word, and I kept going to the window.
We're gonna tease him. Okay. If you're as anxious and curious as I am when it comes to what was this thing? It's about time for a dance break. Wanted to create a little experiment for his congregation and to see what he got from. We gotta do it on the other side of this break, y'all. We're riding shotgun with my man, none other than me, capital T-H-E, Pastor G. Tatum. Stick with us, guys. We're gonna see you on the other side of this break. Let's go. Let's see y'all here on Instagram. Let's go. I guess we got to keep being reminded of that, guys. This is middle of the week, and it's funny because some of us have 5 Fridays, a Saturday, and a Sunday type life, and I live my life that way, and I'm not just saying that tongue in cheek. Literally, I have to look at the calendar to recognize the day. So, because every day above ground is a great day and a chance to get it right. And I remember I shared that with somebody recently when I was at church, or made some comment about, above the ground and breathing, and all the rest is gravy. And it's like, well, if we're on below ground, we're in a better place. And it's like, you said something like that. And I said, you know what? I'm not in a hurry to go there. I still have work to do here. I mean, that sounds cute, and it's okay, not putting people down. But if you're here, your it's not finished. We talk about that, how Christ hung on the cross, and his last word was, it's finished, because he's done with why he was here. If you're here and you're still above ground and breathing, your it's not finished. So what is your it? You need to get with it. And so don't be rushing to the grave. It's like you got time to be able to put this in there. And so I'm super excited to have you just joining us, Pastor G, or to some is Dr. G. Tom is Pastor Greg, Pastor Tate. Just don't call him late for lunch. He is here today, riding shotgun with us. And I'm super excited to have him dropping some nuggets. I see Karen Walker. She says, hi, Greg.
High school.
High school, buddy. Yeah. Ooh, that's going way back.
Yeah, high school. 41 years.
41 years?
I've been married 42 years this year.
Wow. Can I have
9
something?
grandkids.
Oh, my goodness. 40, how many years?
42 this year. Yeah, 9
You must got married when you was 12.
I was 19, my wife was 17.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. Me and Karen been knowing each other since junior high school.
Wow.
In Compton, in the city of Compton.
I'm sure there's a whole nother show behind that and how the migration happened.
You gotta go see your therapist.
Well, like 42 years, that is a huge milestone, especially in today's quantification.
Yes.
I'll say it that way.
Yes.
I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they were celebrating like 7 years or 8 years, and I was like, "Ooh, you passed the 7-year itch. You got a better chance of making it to number 8." So with every year that you pass in marriage, you have a better shot at making it to the next one.
Yes.
And so I think really the downstroke of our country is because of the breakdown of the nucleus of the family.
I agree.
And so I cannot overstate or over applaud people who have been able, in spite of the setbacks or the hang-ups and such in marriage, that have stuck it out and have been able to be the exception, because today it's exceptional to be able to do that. But I digress. We'll talk about marriage some other time. I want to hear his story where he actually put his people, he teased us on the other side of that break. He did a little test or something.
Yes.
And okay, so you pick it up from there.
Okay, so I decided to test my congregation. I only told one person, my assistant pastor, who's my son-in-law. I said, when I run, you run. Okay. So as I was talking, and at this time we had about 70% of the people that was in there was ex-gang members. They came from that life or whatever. So I kept looking out the window, and I come back. I said, I'll just make a couple of comments, get back on the microphone.
While you were pastoring?
As I was preaching. I would go to the window, look, come back like I was disturbed. Then I gave my son-in-law a look. I said, let's get him. I didn't say who. And the whole congregation ran behind me to go get somebody that I thought was out there. and I said, and I came back. I said, that's what you guys are doing. You're running to things you don't know about. And they were so embarrassed. Nobody outside. I said, let's get him. I didn't say who we're trying to get. It just show you the stupidity in the ignorance. And I hate to be that way because I grew up in Chicago. I grew up in Compton. People just run. You don't have to tell them the details. They're finding out later. Right. And I had enough gangsters in there to say, okay, whatever. We got your back. I said, let's get them. We got there and I came back. I said, you see, when you run into things you don't know, I said, the first year, we quick to hear, slow to answer. Yes. And it was a test, and it worked. It was so funny, and they were embarrassed. And, oh, my goodness. Some of them laughed. Some of them were stressing out because they thought they had to put in some work for the pastor, But I bet they remember that sermon. Oh, man, they have to. So next time they go out in the community, somebody says, let's go, they're going to say, wait a minute. Wait, let me. What I'm going to, first of all, to be the last day on earth. I kind of set that in their conscience. I love that, y'all. And if you know, I'm all about making things sticky. And studies show that if you can stimulate emotion in people, you make a connection with them.
And so I could see him on the pulpit, doing this thing. I could totally see that story working out. And then him, let's go. And they all run after him. And not even knowing what they're running into, but they're trusting that, I guess, whatever they're running into is going to be worth packing up the pastor's plate. So what I'm hearing is there's two different dichotomies at work here. One is, Pastor, we got your back in whatever you do.
Right.
But then on the other side of that, he can leverage that, which is what he did. Leverage is to say, wait a minute, it ain't always okay to just have somebody's back.
Right.
It's like, okay, what they doing?
Right.
You need to qualify your having their back.
Right.
And so I love that because I'm sure they have not forgot that particular
for sure.
deal there. And so being able
lives in the future.
Say some, oh my gosh. And if you're imparting that type of a communication or delivery to your congregation, then you're doing something I think that sets you apart. Because let's face it, there's a lot of pastors out there that are stuck in the old rut of delivery.
Right.
And I'm just gonna be honest, as if I was lying before. No, I'm gonna be honest the whole time that we have to evolve. I mean, be that community that changes with the times, because we have evolved to be evolvers and say, hey, we're going to adapt. We're going to be able to make this happen. If you stay in that old way, I think biblical, they was talking about, don't use to pour new wine in the old wineskins because it'll burst. And so I want to be all throwing the Bible at you, but it makes sense. And so it's like, then the question becomes, hey, before you go running,
yes,
because you got somebody's back,
right,
qualify the back.
Exactly.
For the activities that you guys actually have. Right. I got another question for him.
Yes.
And I'm gonna throw it at him. And this one, his response, because I know he already has the answer inside of him. And I can't wait to hear it. But I know it's gonna be able to bless your heart. But it's gotta be on the other side of this dance break, y'all. I gotta tease you to keep you along. I see you, Dana. Hey girl, you just here. Here it Pace, good to see you. Hey Phil Dixon, good to see you as well. We'll catch you guys on the other side of this break. Stay with us. We ride shotgun with my man. Let's go. It will work out. We do it every time. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. Gotta change it, yeah. Just you and me. Please tell me you know that song. I tell you, that's one of those songs that I think it marked a certain time in history where there was a huge struggle. In fact, this is a good segue here. A huge struggle between the races, and my race specifically, and other people of minorities and such, where we just wanted for our country to cash in on its whole foundational principle that it was founded on. And it just so happened this is Black History Month. So, and just a couple of days ago, we just celebrated a guy who came, saw, conquered, and died for the cause of equality. And that's the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. And I totally did not on my Monday show bring that up because we got so caught up in the nugget stuff, but I'm remiss to run past that and say, hey, and not acknowledge fully that actual day that has paved the way for people like Pastor G to be able to run for, back then that wouldn't be heard of, running for office as mayor, let alone Senate. But now it has become a reality, and we have those people who we see who said yes to the space and blazed the trail and have won those particular positions, duly elected, when just a short 40 years ago, you subject yourself to as much as being killed. Any thoughts on that?
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of funny you would say that. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, where Martin Luther King was assassinated.
Oh, wow.
I was born there in 1959. And the night before he was assassinated, when he gave this great I Have a Dream speech, I know he did it at the National Mall in Washington, but he also did it again at the Mason Hall in Memphis, Tennessee. That was in 1968.
Wow.
My grandfather and uncle was in attendance at that last meeting before he died the next day.
Mm.
And when you think about it, and you started to look at his contemporaries, you had the Malcolm X, you know, Stokely Carmichaels, you had, you know, Baldwin that was doing the poetry. You had a lot of celebrities, Sammy Davis, Howard Belafonte, a lot of Jewish activists, a lot of Catholic and Christian activists walking with him. And now they had discovered that he was more conservative than liberal. We actually was on a program with his niece on our radio program, Alveda King, and we're going to do a traveling event with Bernice King and Alveda King. He was assassinated for trying to make people's lives better. You know, I am a man in Memphis, the garbage truck workers going on strike. Some of them no insurance. One guy got crushed. So when you think about being a nonviolent person in tumultuous South, coming off of Jim Crow, where you did everything in your power to embrace love, to show the humanity of all your brethren. You know, he traveled to India. I've been to India twice. Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy. I've been to Israel twice. So he brings these philosophies into the Western culture. As he brings these philosophies here and try to execute them, only thing they can come back with is because of who you are, the color of your skin. A very educated man, a PhD at the age of 26 years, Nobel Prize winner. He died for standing up for righteousness. Yeah. And you take those same people that were a part of that, and you fast forward in the future, their kids, the generation, they're embracing that idea. Whereas he did anything to provoke nothing. All he did was try to embrace the idea of equality, right? And they got him killed. Right. So now, fast forward in 2020, I'm running for a mayor in Bakersfield, very conservative county. Kern County is very conservative. If it happens that God blesses me to become the mayor, I will be the first African-American mayor in this 151 years of their incorporation. That's a win-win for every culture in Bakersfield. What it's going to do is going to bring a national awareness of inclusiveness that, you know, this town embraces. I'm proud of Karen Go because she's a Chinese American, happens to be a Christian. I'm a pastor that's a Christian, and she did a lot for the women's movement as far as a female being the mayor, and I respect that. And that, you know, even her accomplishment has given me enough courage to go forward. So I embrace her, and I hope she embraced me as well as others. This will be a historical moment in Bakersfield. Everybody wins. Yeah, I applaud that. And when I see people that are out there, again, not just saying it, but displaying it, if I had the hat on, I'd have to take it off to them, because that is such an exceptional thing. And you know, guys, I do this so I can be able to give you a glimpse of what it looks like to be able to traverse the minefield of life, overcoming your adversity along the way, and know that that adversity is there to make you better. Because only a fool would pray to have greener grass, but then curse the rain. It's like, no, it's part of the deal. Yes. And so in this case, when you say yes to these spaces that are scary, maybe a little hairy and stuff, it's like, no, step back and ask yourself the question, hey, is this going to make me better? Because at the end of the day, I always like to say, you're either going to win or you're going to become wiser. Yes. There's no losing. Yes. It's only true form of loss is if you stay in the loss or you didn't learn anything from it. Because failure, let's call it failure. Some people try to discount the word failure. I'm okay with using that word because failure is just a creative form of feedback. You hear me talk about that all the time. It's like, guys, you have to fail your way to success. Abraham Lincoln. Yes. A lot of people don't know his story. I do. So he ran for office and senates and such and got shot down like some crazy amount of time, 12 times or more. 12. And I don't mean like, you know, I'm talking double digits, but he didn't look at it as failure. He was like, wait a minute, I learned something from that. And his persistence in pursuing, he had nervous breakdowns, he lost his wife and bankruptcy and people were muckraking, all kinds of stuff. Every reason under the sun to be able to say, no, I'm not going to go for that. And people in his circle understanding why.
and supporting him on backing away. But he says, no, in spite of that, he trudged forward and was able to do some things that really was pivotal that now to this day we have benefited from. And so I have to ding, ding, ding that whole deal. And so to be able to see that, Pastor G here is like saying, hey, I'm not just comfortable with being in this little cozy space, because the cat of comfort has a purr that's very deceptive.
Yes.
And you can't grow in comfort. You need to get out of that. I like to say it this way: become uncomfortable and become comfortable with being uncomfortable until the uncomfortable becomes comfortable, then repeat the process. Because that's how you grow. That's how you're going to continue to be able to move. This coming up year, well, this year that we're already in, 2020, I think it's pivotal that it's synonymous with perfect vision for 2020. And I know everybody's using that metaphor, so including me, because it's just, I don't think we're going to have another decade that's going to be as pivotal in the actual numbers. And so we're going to squeeze the juice out of that one. I see you, Angela. I see you, Michael. I see you guys here streaming on Instagram as well, too. Thanks for joining us. I'm riding shotgun with my man, none other than the Pastor G. Or they call him Dr. Tatum, Pastor G Tatum, and all these other names. I call him friend, and he's riding shotgun with me. He has thrown his hat in the ring to be able to run for mayor here in the great city of Bakersfield. Go out there and get yourself educated on the actual candidates that are running as well, too. I'm sure somebody out there is probably saying, okay, what's going to make Pastor Tatum different than the ones that are in that actual race? I'm not going to fill that in for him. I'm going to just pose that question to him. What would make you different?
Well, first of all, we talked about it again. I'm a family man, married 42 years, 3 kids, grandfather of 9 kids. Out of the 9, we have 8 boys and just 1 girl.
Wow.
And, yeah, and as you know, in many communities, especially when I found out pastoring on Martin Luther King and some of the other most deprived areas, a lot of young men in our city are lost without fathers. They even say people of color are lacking 70% of households with a father. So I'm bringing that father image, that father leadership. I'm bringing that stability to bring the family unit together. You do what's happening now currently in Kern County and across the nation, we have the homeless crisis. But also because people don't have the family to support them. I'm talking about people reaching out and protecting and showing how families could live together back in the day, coming from different countries. They all stayed together until he was able to go into their own place as they migrated to the country. So I'm bringing family, focusing on the things that are stable. I'm focusing on new ideas. I know we're a county and a city of agriculture and oil, but also let's look at space exploration. You know, I did some contracting with a space company. Let's do space exploration. Let's bring in a new generation of engineers. Let's bring in the new business people. Let's start challenging our kids in kindergarten, not, you know, when in 7th grade. We have 19 high schools in Bakersfield. They found out the high school graduation rate is great, but higher education for undergrads and graduate, they're at a low 19%. They did a survey when I was running for mayor in 2016, and I found that Bakersfield ranks number 7 as the lowest educated people in the nation. In the nation.
As far as the city, the county?
Yeah, the nation.
The nation.
The whole United States of America.
Wow.
They rank number 7 is less educated. So we gotta infuse them with incentives to go to higher learning. If it's not, learn a skill. I will be bringing that to the table. You know, I worked in aviation for many years, so we'll be bringing these ideas. I traveled to Israel, to India, and where they got the caste system where people are it's no middle class.
Right.
Or you rich. You got almost 2 billion people. You're Americans over 370 million people. So I will bring on a fresh new idea of entrepreneurship, starting with our youngest, that it will benefit years down the line. Right now, the problem they're having, they had a meeting at the supervisor's office on last week about the oil situation that Gavin Newsom is trying to hinder exploration, you know, with the fracking and all those different things, where they can't be able to tap into new resources of oil and not being dependent on foreign oil.
Mhm.
But those are God-given resources. Like everything that we have benefit are from God-given resources.
Right.
And God has given us young people. Those are resources.
Mhm.
Okay, so as we're still doing good, and I applaud and I embrace the oil industry as well as agriculture, but now we got to look further down the line. Let's invest in our kids.
Yeah.
Let's see them. Let Bakersfield. My motto for this campaign: Bakersfield can do anything.
Yeah.
And that's coming from the scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'm
Right.
taking from that.
Yeah.
And we're going forward. So those are my marching orders.
Wow. And I know you also invested some time in the military as well, too,
Yes.
as I understand.
Correct.
Which branch?
I was in the Army of Cedric, and I was there the most unique time. And this one thing when I was running for the race of Senate with Shannon Grove, she was in Germany during the same period, 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down. She
Okay.
served as a staff person submitting orders for deployment. I worked in a Patriot missile unit,
Mm-hmm.
air artillery, and intelligence over in Germany in 1989 when the Berlin Wall
Mm-hmm.
came down. Our unit was deployed to Israel to deflect the missiles that Saddam was trying to provoke them into a holy war when he went into Kuwait to rob them. So we were under the first Persian Gulf War.
Oh,
in
wow.
1989.
And so this was Patriot missiles back
Patriot
then.
missile, that was my unit.
Now I think Israel has got like the Iron Dome
Yes.
thing. Is that pretty much kind of the same?
Pretty much the same, more
but
enhanced, and then got also the what they call it, I guess, David slingshot. I mean, they use biblical names,
Yeah.
which is very unique, and the various drones. But
Yeah.
my point is that what God showed me, even when I was in Germany, in 1989, Berlin Wall came down when Ronald Reagan told Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Right.
God has placed me in historical situations. I can tell you some things that will make you go, Now, to give you one example, in 1984, I was preaching in a church in Long Beach, California,
Mm-hmm.
and a lady came up to me where it was not traditional for women to speak or preach in a Baptist church.
Right.
She came up to me and she said, Reverend Tatum, God told me to tell you you're going to meet some famous people and you're going to be seen all over the world. She told me that on a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, I did a commercial for TBN Network, Paul and Jen Crouch.
Mhm.
It was all over the world. They showed that commercial.
Wow.
That Saturday, I got a chance to go to Michael Jackson Neverland Ranch. And once we got in there, Michael Jackson came out. They took a picture, and the picture was in all the papers all around the world. That prophecy happened.
Wow.
Okay. So I move by God's direction.
God, it's interesting because you hear certain things around, but then once you see manifestation that happens in your life, then you become one of those real believers. And I think, if I'm correct, in tune with what's for you and what's not for you. Because I always like to say, the clearer your vision, the easier your decisions. And so if you're like, okay, I know I'm in this space. And I always say, if you're on the right path, the size of your steps don't matter. Just keep moving forward. Because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. There's no third direction.
Yes.
So for those of you who say, I'm just standing still. No, you're not. Because other people are moving forward and backwards. So that means you're by osmosis, you're moving forward and backwards. So if we're intentional about making these steps and stepping into what we believe is for us, and we see these manifestations and are able to feel confident about how we are moving in our decisions because of our clear vision, then the rest is all gravy. I'm riding shotgun here with my man, none other than the capital THE, Pastor G. Tatum. He's in the house. He is running for office, the mayor's spot coming up for this 2020. And he's going to be, I'm sure, how many people are in the election running for?
Three people.
Three?
March 3rd. The mayor, myself, and one other gentleman.
Really? So far? Or is the door closed?
The door is closed.
The door is closed?
There's three running versus when I ran in 2016 was 25.
Wow.
So we have three incumbent Mayor Go,
Right.
myself, and a guy named Joe who was 88 years old.
Uh-huh.
And according to the newspaper, he was married 6 times plus, something like that.
Got
He
it.
did run in 2008 against Harvey Hall.
Got it.
So he, this is the second
Coming back to
go
see if he
around.
can go around.
Yes.
Guys, and again, I don't get deep into politics on my actual lives as such, but I did want to get deep into him and who the guy is. And when I met him, right off the bat, I call them green jelly beans. His life is full of jelly beans all around. And I like to collect the green ones, the ones that are positive, they're uplifting, they're encouraging, they're dream driven, goal getting passion pursuers on a mission to be a little bit better today than they were yesterday. They're more selfless ambitious than selfish ambitious. And so I found that in him. And I said, I got to get you over here to ride live with me on this shotgun here. And he was able to be and grace me with his presence today. I know we're running right up to that hour window, but I think so far, you guys get any good stuff out of this? Get some thumbs up and hearts. And I hope that's the case. If you've watched us up to this point, press your share button because somebody needs to see this. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, see there's a little subscribe button right up in here in this area, right about here. Press that subscribe button. That's so you'll be notified when we got stuff that's coming down the pipeline that you can be able to see as well too and be inspired and motivated from it. I see you, Mike Lyons. I see you, Howard, Sonny Haber, and the other Mike Mellon. All of you guys, thank you for joining us. I got one additional thing I want to kind of throw at him real quick as we go out here. But obviously, I got to do that on the other side of this dance break.
Somebody say it's time for a dance break.
Yes, it's time for a dance break. And it's hump day. Guys, stick around with us. We're going to close this thing out properly. All right? We'll be right back. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. I see you guys here. I see you out here. Hey, Deja. Day. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, it is that kind of day. This is a hump day in the middle of your week. We want to get you infused with some nice stuff that's going to make you move a little bit. We want to bless your heart and stimulate your mind and help you to leverage your time. Ride shotgun with, I was going to say Doc, but okay, I'm going to call him what he's okay with me calling him, which is Pastor G. Ride hot shotgun with him. And like I said, he is taking that bold step in the direction of into the rim of the political rim, which puts a target on your back, by the way. And he says he's just not comfortable with being comfortable. And it's okay to not be okay. It's like, it's okay. But it's not okay to stay that way. I even made that rhyme for you. That's kind of funny. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. You can move on out. You can push yourself. You can, if nothing else this year, push yourself into some arenas that's going to challenge you, because if it does not challenge you, and I'm sure you can agree with this, it does not change you. I'm gonna let that marinate a little bit. If it doesn't challenge you, it does not change you. There's no change. In fact, I say this and it bears repeating. If what it is where you're at right now, if the discomfort of being there is about right here and your fear of changing is up here, you'll never change. But watch this. Get his take on this too. It's not until your discomfort of being here exceeds the fear of the unknown if you change, then you will change. You have any thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, our church is called Change Community Church.
Oh, I love that. I love that, by the way.
And, God gave this to us over 10 years when we came to the Southern Baptist when we came out. Change for me, Cedric, is exactly pretty much how you articulated it. You have to be able to step out of the comfort zone. And if it's not, if your dream is something you can do, it's not really a big dream. It got to be something that's going to take God.
Right.
Okay.
You need that third party involved.
Right. It's going to take God. And I want to tell you this, my background. Like I said, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. We moved to Chicago. We lived in the worst area of Chicago. You've seen the good times with the projects.
Cabrini Green?
I lived in the Cabrini Green project for 10 years. And,
wow.
It was like a prison. I mean, I'm going to give you an idea versus what California called bad area versus what Chicago called
bad area.
Well, the bad area of Chicago, it might be gang infested, drug infested, and as such. And you have to navigate yourself through the neighborhood. In Chicago, we stayed in these high rises, 15 stories, 20 stories. Imagine you staying on the 15th floor, the elevator is broke because somebody's robbing somebody. You got to walk up. Imagine going through the hallway to get to the 15th floor, all the lights off because somebody's being raped. As you're going up the stairs, imagine you step on something, stop. Somebody took a dump. Somebody's urinating. That's what I grew up in in the 60s. Okay? So when we left there in 1970 and come to Chicago, to California, they took us to a beautiful oasis called Compton. It was Hollywood.
A beautiful oasis in California, LA area called Compton.
In comparison to where I came from, in Chicago, with the Kanye West, Jennifer Hudson's, and all the Commons, Compton was beautiful. Yeah, we were playing football and Christmas in the streets. We couldn't do that in Chicago.
Oh my gosh.
We could not go downstairs and play unless we have family and armed guards.
Wow.
Because it was that dangerous.
So you jumped out of the fire into the frying pan.
There you go. So I was happy for
it was consider the other way around, where you jump out of the frying pan into the fire, which is worse. He jumped out of the fire into the frying pan. So it's like, so from Cabrini Green, just Google that. You see what the stop there. Now. Oh, they tore it down now?
Oh, yeah. Now,
okay.
The gentrification. It was okay. The Cabrini Green's after a lady. She was a missionary. Back in the 1800s, Francis Cabrini, and Francis, and there's a guy named Green, which was a construction. They put those names together.
Cabrini and Green, okay.
Green. The Italians were coming from the old world, and they were staying in this area, and they made this area. And after World War II, a lot of people.
So was it initially Italian?
Well, in the beginning, mostly? In that area. Because
this is good history, y'all.
Yeah, she's Italian. And even in the hospital after Francis Cabrini, and they were coming over. Our intentions were good to help people that were migrants coming over. Later on, they were dealing with people that were coming back from the war. And then around about 59 or in the 50s, they decided, Mayor Daley was the big mayor there in Chicago, and they wanted to try to put up community housing, which was a failure, and which concentrated African Americans, people of color, in one area. It became
so
like
they keep a good eye on.
Yeah. Like a prison.
Oh my God.
And now, fast forward, once they eradicated and destroyed it, now it's high rises, very expensive. You can't live there. Predominantly rich people that live there.
So it was gentrification, where they tore it down, cleared it all out, and then built some really nice, desirable condos.
Wow. Imagine people that were in public housing, maybe their rent was $200 a month. Right. The same area now is $4,000.
Wow. Wow.
Because you can see the view of Lake Michigan now.
Wow.
So, I grew up in that situation. So when we got to California and Compton, I felt this is nothing, we couldn't go outside. Like I said, I remember as a kid on the elevator in Chicago, 3 or 4 years old, Mom had a shopping bag full of groceries. I remember God taking stuff out of her grocery bag and doing this with his finger, telling me not to say anything.
While he's still in the groceries out
as we going on the elevator, and he's going like this to me. Okay. And then one time I remember
did you tell her?
I was afraid. He gave me that look, like your mom may be here, I'm big, you may not see your mom again. So I remember the situation with my younger brother. He grew up in Compton as well. I remember my mom telling me the story that he came into the house and my mom's purse was on the table, and he kept staring at the purse. My mom said, "What's wrong? What's your problem?" He said, "A man out there told me to go grab your purse and give it to him." So not only would they snatch your purse, they would invade your house through your kids.
Right.
To help
send in a Trojan horse. Go steal your mom's purse, bring it out here.
Yeah, environment we came up.
Thank God for change, y'all. Thank God for change. And we're all products of our previous experiences. And as you can see, he has an eclectic mix of experiences. But on the other side of that, he has been fashioned into someone who has, because of his previous experiences, has equipped him to be able to take on just about anything.
Oh, pretty much.
And I think has given him a good, it's a good representation for things that he's talking about. Family, the different layers of family that he's been in as well too. Good business guy, also community and pastoral position as well too. I think he's an overall good egg, as my buddy Ralph would say. And so I got to give him some ding, 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 ding. for those of you who are out there that are considering voting for particular candidates coming up here in Bakersfield for mayor, go and check out your candidates. And, you know, and again, I don't use the platform here for, you know, promoting anything and such, but I want to promote this gentleman as an actual good old egg that I know of. And so maybe he's got some stuff like under the, I don't know, but from what I know, Pastor G is a great man. And I want to thank him for coming out today. We could go on and on. I'm hoping that you guys have gotten some nice little nuggets. If you just joined us, press the replay button, go back and rewatch this. You're going to see that we dropped some really good stuff. We talked about the adversity. We talked about the self-inflicted change. We talked about his church that shares the same name that's synonymous with that. We talked about don't just have somebody's back, qualify the having of their back. He shared a great story about that. So this is share worthy, my friends. And for those who are just chiming in, it's replay worthy. But if you hear that music, we're coming up.
Can I close with something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just want to let everybody know, in February the 3rd, Cedric, 7 o'clock, Channel 17, we will have a live debate. Karen Gold, myself, and the other candidates.
Oh, wow. February 3rd, live at 7 o'clock.
Channel 17.
On Channel 17, there's going to be a live debate between Pastor G, Karen Go, and another candidate as well. It's only 3 candidates that's running for mayor that's out there, my friends. I'll show you guys. I like this little cleaned up picture there. Yeah, he cleans up really nice there. He cleans up a little bit. And, also, here's his card here. Yeah, Tatum! Lock that name away. Also, I have this other photo here. He does a little podcast. Yes. And so, tell me just a quick little cliff notes about the podcast.
Quick, this podcast is by James Cannon, who's the father of Nick Cannon. He's also my campaign manager.
Oh. When
I was running for state senate against Shannon Grove.
Is he local?
He's in
LA?
San Diego area.
Oh, San Diego, okay.
And that's where Nick Cannon grew up, in San Diego. And I was speaking at a church, and he was in the audience. He was so intrigued with what I was saying, and we kept friends. He came to Bakersfield, came to my house, had coffee. We went out to dinner.
Okay. So you forged a relationship with him.
Yes. So
yeah. Okay.
He volunteered to be my campaign manager, James Cannon, the father of Nick Cannon.
Wow. And y'all have a podcast
that
you do on a regular basis?
Yeah. We kind of took a hiatus, but every Saturday at 9 a.m. we have people on there. A young lady that was Sam Cooke's granddaughter, changing on to come. We had Martin Luther King's niece, Alveda King, his brothers. We have some
so you have some recognizable names, notable quotables
yes.
that come gracing that platform.
Yes.
Well, definitely put it out there. In somewhere in the body of this, I definitely tagged you on it as well too. I know we're hitting it right up there at that 1 hour mark, my friends. I'm going to take this opportunity to say thank you for chiming in. Hey, I see you, Tim Gamboa and Frank Carbonell. You guys are late, so go to the principal office and get your late pass. It's all written down. But better late than never, y'all. Press that replay button. We dropped some great nuggets here with Dr. Tatum or Pastor G Tatum. He goes by a bunch of names, but I call him friend. He's a good guy, overall good egg. And I'm glad we had him here today, guys. Up to this point here, I'll press that share button or press that replay button. We're going to go out. We got little Prince talking about, I don't want your kiss. I just want your kiss. That's all. You ain't got to impress me. I want you. I just want your kiss. That's it. All right, guys. I hope this has been fun for you because it was fun for me. For those of you, I did open the door for this huge event we got at the Petroleum Club. It's not even a huge event. Actually, it's like a private event. This Saturday, 6 to 9. Tune in at about 7 o'clock or so. We're going to be going live there. I'll have people that have been on the show that'll be there. We're going to do a crazy live for about 2 hours. You're going to get some crazy nuggets raining because we're taking our individual energies and creating one big old synergy that's going to result in a huge byproduct for you that'll make you, inspire you, motivate you, encourage you, educate you, maybe even transformate you depending on where you're at in your life, guys. So that's this Saturday, the 25th. Look around about 7 or so o'clock in the PM is when we'll go live. For those who will be in attendance, they'll be there at 6. Now, if you want to come, I did reserve like a few little side tickets for people who haven't been on the show that can actually come. But you have to hit me up in my DMs to try to get that, okay? I hope so. So if you're riding this streaming live on Instagram there, I see you guys. I see you streaming live here on Facebook as well, too. And also, if you're on YouTube, click on that subscribe button that's about right there. and LinkedIn and Twitter and all you guys that'll be seeing this say, I love you. Thanks for chiming in. We're about to roll out of here. Y'all can dance with us. Let's go. We'll catch you on the next one. Let's make it great.com. Say, hey, we'll do one shot at this life thing. Let's not make it good. Let's make it absolutely great. We'll see you guys later. That was great.